Today AI can talk, but tomorrow AI will act. In this video, I will explain to you exactly what this means, and I will give you some shortcuts to understand exactly what agents are. Today, AI can talk, and that's very important to understand. Most of the tool we use, you just chat with an AI, with an LLM, and that's it, nothing special. But there are a couple of quotes I want to show you. For example, from Bill Gates. Bill Gates said, you won't have to use different apps for different tasks anymore. You will simply just tell your device in everyday language what you want to do. Okay, this sounds interesting. Then we have Sam Schiller. He is basically saying, this is V2 of the computing industry. Okay, cool. And then Sam Altman says, at some point we will have billion-dollar companies with only one single person. Awesome, again. But what kind of tools are these people using? What kind of value do these people provide? Today AI can talk, but tomorrow AI will act. We will have AI systems that basically do all the stuff. We will have founders who build tools that can do stuff for others. It's not like a SaaS tool that we use. It's more like a service tool, and we can talk to it. It will do things completely autonomously. I have this complicated definition for you, but stick with me because this is really important to understand. AI agents decide and then act to solve a problem for you. The concept that we will use to build these kind of tools that are acting autonomously are called agents. In one sentence, agents enable the intelligence that we have today to act. And an agent is basically a system that decides which end steps to take to act towards the goal you have. To make this a little bit more clear, when you want to know what the weather is, for example, first step, then you ask Google, then you get a response. Awesome. But an agent can make decisions. So the difference between an agent and all the other systems is basically, does the system use LLMs to make decisions? And in this example here, you ask the agent, what's the weather? And the agent can decide to respond directly to you or ask Google and then get the response to you. Why is this important? I mean, if you ask for the weather, the AI has to understand, oh, I don't know this, so this is why I asked Google. But if you ask it, who's Albert Einstein, for example, it will say, oh, I know this. And then it will not ask Google, it will respond directly. It depends on what you ask. And to ask Google is one thing the AI can do. Imagine an AI that has access to hundreds of functions, or we call them tools. So this chart is about the different types of agents. So the x-axis is about autonomy. How many decisions can an agent make autonomously? Let's start with ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you can ask it basically anything, but it cannot make any decisions at all. I mean, I think ChatGPT makes at least one decision because it has to decide, based on the prompt, do I use Bing search? Do I respond directly? Or do I use the code interpreter? And this is basically one decision it has to make every time you ask it something. This is why it's very general, but also not very autonomous. Then GitHub Copilot, for example, is very specific because it can only write code. It will not write you any social media posts. And I think Copilot does not make any decisions at all. I think it only reacts when you do something in your IDE. Then on the other side, we have Devon AI, for example. And Devon AI is also very specific because it's only built for solving code problems, but it's also very autonomous. This means that you can give it a task and it will make a lot of decisions to solve this problem for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. So you can say, Devon, go implement this new function. And then it will come back one day later or something and says, yes, here's the result. I tested everything, it should work. Then AutoGPT is the idea of doing everything at once. AutoGPT tries to be very general. It can do anything, but it's also an LLM in the loop, which potentially means that it can make infinite decisions. But yeah, the repository is not there yet. I mean, if you try that out, it's interesting, it's a fun idea, but it's not really working. I highly recommend to not use this in production. What is an AI engineer? I think this topic is also really important so we understand what kind of roles we have to establish in our teams and what are the goals for this person. So the AI engineers using LLMs, while machine learning engineers, machine learning researchers, and data scientists, for example, they are more in the process of providing LLMs. That's very simplified, but I think this makes sense. So if you think of an AI engineer, someone who's building with LLMs, I think that the AI engineer can train models, but I don't think that the AI engineer is someone who's training huge models on huge data centers. But there are tools out there that you can use to train your own models right now without providing this infrastructure yourself. OpenAI, and there are so many others, provide services where you can upload your data set and then train your own model based on the model the company provides. And this is also how you can train your own GPT 3.5. Why is it so important to learn about AI agents? Here are some charts. The first one shows the adoption of ChatGPT. They got 1 million users in 5 days. This is insane. ChatGPT also showed us that people are willing to pay for this. This slide shows not only the B2C sector said yes to AI, but also the business side, because the revenue increased by more than 140%. This proves that really big tech companies care about this a lot and they invest all their money. So I think by now this should be clear. And this is the revenue that OpenAI made, over 900%. I mean, from 200 million to 2 billion, something like that is insane. This is another proof that something is happening in the market and you should pay attention to learn more about AI agents. And this brings us to the AI Agent Fundamentals course. This course is not only about LLMs, it's about agents, which means that we will cover a lot of architectures, a lot of shortcuts to build reliable agents. This course gives you a really broad overview. It will discuss all the important terms that you need to know to talk about agents, to understand agents, and to build them on your own. Not only something that you copied from GitHub or something, but to really understand the basics, to build systems that make decisions, that you can integrate into production. This is what we will build. Everything we build can be used by you, your partner, your boss, or whatever you want. We will use ISO as our interface to communicate with our agent and our toolbox. And the agent will be able to use these tools in our toolbox. First tool is this, which is basically a GPT-4 wrapper. Then we have a RAG tool that we will build. We will use Pinecone for that. Then we have a Summarize X emails tool that has access to your email inbox. Then we will have a tool that generates UI components from a raw string. So let's say you have a huge string of numbers and you want to convert these numbers into charts. We can use the Generate UI tool. Then we have the Similar Web Scraper tool. This is basically a tool that scrapes the similar web page. But you also can modify this tool to scrape any web page you want. Then we will use the API from view.com, and we will build the Exa Company Search, which is basically a tool that wraps the Exa Search API. All of that is based on a couple of things we will use as our infrastructure. For example, we will use the Grok Inference API and the OpenAI Inference API, obviously. Then we will use Pinecone, we will use SQLite. We will not go into the details, but we just use it in the background. And you don't have to understand any SQL at all. We will use the ISO state for agent-to-agent communication. Then we will use the site scraper and maybe one or two other scrapers we will use to scrape websites. So in total, it's a very comprehensive toolbox that you can use for yourself or adapt to your own needs, and also use as a basis for your own projects or for your company's projects. Let's start with the demo. So the first agent I want to show you is the text-to-chart agent. And I just select that. Can you please convert this data into a chart? And it will use GPT-4 to understand the data. It will understand the context of the numbers because I didn't provide any information on what this is. And then it will come up with a chart. So I decided to come up with multiple charts. Cool, but can you please put all of these into one chart except the total common shares outstanding? And the agent basically understands the context, so it understands the chat history, but also what I mean, what I want from it. So now it combined all numbers into one chart except this one. So this is one tool, which basically means we convert string to UI components. We also can convert it to YouTube videos and other components. The second one is the assistant. How do I calculate the price to sales ratio? And you can see that the agent explained me exactly how we can calculate this ratio. The next tool I want to introduce you is the similar web search. Please give me an overview of the Tesla web traffic. I never addressed this agent directly. ESO will automatically pick the right tool, pick the right agent. Here's the result. We got total visits in millions. We get the traffic and engagement metrics. We get agent distribution. So this looks really good, really good. Another agent we will build is the summarize my inbox agent. Summarize my last 3 emails. Now it will go to my inbox, get the last 3 emails and do a summary. And this is a result. I will not show everything because this is private. But you see, I subscribe to the Bay Area newsletter and it summarized the key points for me. So this is really convenient. If you have a lot of newsletters, for example, this makes your life definitely easier. Now I want to introduce you to the research agent. You can basically ask a very broad question like research visa options for traveling to the US. And the research agent will go and decompose this question into multiple questions. So it makes sure to answer your question really, really well. The first question, for example, is about non-immigrant visas. The second one is about immigrant visas. Then you can see it provides some sub-questions for this question, so it goes more into the details. After that, the agent will convert these questions and their relationships with each other into a DAG, and then will plan all the tasks that are necessary to do research for every single question. Then it will start to do the research, and this is an example where it shows us all the sources it considers. And this is a result. We have a long result where the agent explains everything it found in a report-like style. All the research that the agent will do will be saved into a vector database, so we can use RAG to retrieve this information whenever we want. And use another agent that only has access to the database of the search results our research agent provides over time. And I can ask it, hey, list non-immigrant visas for the US. It will do that. And now you have information based on a real research and not something the AI made up. It always accesses our database. Obviously, you can connect all these agents to your own database too, so you can build your own frameworks. And now, if you want, you build this agent and you want to share this with someone else, what you can do is you can just click this link right here, share it. Then if the person can also use your agent from their phone. And then it will look like this. Please list non-immigrant visas for the US. It will search and will give you all the information that you need. Why should you learn about all of this? If you're still concerned about it, I want to give you some insights. I highly recommend this AI readiness report because it covers concerns that companies have right now. And I want to cover 2 charts. The first one is, what are the top challenges that companies have right now? The first one is infrastructure, tooling, out-of-the-box solutions. They don't meet their needs, which basically means that there's a huge lack of expertise and there is a huge opportunity for building more products. So if you think about building a startup, I think this is the right time to do it, to start it. Next chart is about why haven't you adopted AI as a company? And the first concern is it's a data concern. I mean, they don't want to put all their data into context window of OpenAI, which I totally understand. So this is the first concern. Second thing is that there's a huge lack of expertise, which basically means there's a lot of opportunity as a developer to learn all this stuff and then get hired from these kind of companies, because at some point they need you. And I also don't think that products like Devon AI, for example, where it will completely automate this entire space. And if you're starting right now, if you've seen this right now, I think this is the great time to start to use these tools, learn about the stuff, because obviously these companies will need you. So this is for this video, and the next video will be about agents and agentic workflows. And you can find it in the course. The link is in the video description. It's the second chapter, and it's a long chapter explaining every detail. And check it out.